Hello and welcome to our very first segment with Cooking Made Easy with Ester Zepeda. Today we're going to be making sweet potato casserole. Don't forget, it's going to be a healthier version than the original sweet potato casserole that's typically made with marshmallows. Today's ingredients include cashew milk, black pepper, some pecans that are salted, some vanilla extract, some glazed pecans, sweet potato, cinnamon, nutmeg, some butter, of course, almond flour, and of course some dates. For today's appliances, we're going to be using a spatula, a peeler, a mashing knife, a cutting board, a strainer, 2 bowls, preferably a large bowl and a medium-sized bowl, a measuring cup for liquid, and measuring cups and measuring tablespoon and teaspoon for the dry ingredients, and of course a big pot to boil water. So the first step we're going to be doing today is we're going to be cutting up our sweet potatoes, but of course first you have to wash them. I just want to tell you a little bit about sweet potatoes. They are a complex carb which are super good for you. They hold protein, starches that help break down your food, as well as different vitamins and minerals. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to peel it and then you're going to cut it into cubes, okay? We're going to go ahead and once it's peeled, go ahead and cut the ends. Okay, there, and we're gonna cut into slices here like this. Be careful with your hand, and we're gonna go ahead and cut and create little cubes like this. Sorry, it's a little hard. And there we go. So they should look a little like that. Alrighty, so once you have your sweet potatoes cut up in little cubes like this, we're gonna go ahead and put them in a pot with boiling water for 20 to 30 minutes, okay? So I already started my boiling water here. So I went ahead and applied high heat. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my sweet potatoes there. Be careful with the water, it's gonna jump. There you go. So try to do it away from you, not in front of you. Perfect. Once that's cooking there, I'm going to turn on the heat again on high and let that sit there for about 20 to 30 minutes. Alrighty, so now that we are waiting for the sweet potatoes to cook, we're going to go ahead and get started on our topping. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up these dates into small little pieces for our topping. So these dates actually have seeds inside, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut on the sides there. They are a little sticky, so just be very careful here, and then the seed is right there, so that make sure that is out, and you're going to go ahead and just start chopping finely like that. Perfect. All right, perfect. So they should look something a little like this. So now we're going to put them into our toppings bowl. And you're going to go ahead and cut 4 of these to give it that flavor of the dates. Alright, so after we did our dates, we're going to go ahead and move over to our pecans. We have our salted pecans and we have our glazed pecans. It's going to give it more of a different flavor. These are mapled and then these ones are just salted. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and show you 2 methods that I do when chopping off pecans. So the first method, of course, is using with a knife. We're going to go ahead and just chop those up finely here. There. And just go ahead and do this. These are a lot easier with your regular salted pecans just because there's not glazed on top of them, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to chop them finely, as you can see here. For the second method with these glazed pecans, they are going to be a little harder to chop. So what I do is I put them in a bag and put them in there, get my knife and start smashing them just like that, which is going to give them a finer chop instead of using your knife. So let's go ahead and start putting the rest of these into our bowl. And remember, it's gonna be 3/4 of a cup. I already measured everything beforehand. So we have our pecans finally chopped in here, so it should look a little something like this. Perfect. So now we're gonna go ahead and move over to our almond flour and our butter. So we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can go ahead and use your knife to chop that off, and just go ahead and put that in there. And for our almond flour, just use this liquid measuring cup here to measure. Make sure you get eye level to this. Perfect, we're at about 3/4. Great. We're gonna go ahead and just toss it in here, and we're gonna mix it. Awesome. So it should look something a little like this once it's done. All right, perfect. So now it's been about 30 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and check on our sweet potatoes. Oh, yes. Look at them. Beautiful color, that beautiful orange color. We're gonna go ahead and take them off and strain them into the strainer. Alrighty, once they are strained and all ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and put them into our bowl, which is our larger bowl that we're gonna use, and you're gonna see why right now. Perfect. So now you're gonna go ahead and get your hand masher, which is something like this, and you're just gonna go ahead and go to town and start smashing those potatoes. All right, once you have about your 3 sweet potatoes all together, boiled and smashed, we're gonna go ahead and move over to our spices. All right, now that we have our mashed sweet potatoes in here, we're gonna go ahead and start putting our spices in. So we're gonna use cashew milk. So it's gonna be 1/4 of a cup. And you like to eyeball it, so make sure you go to eye level here. We're gonna start pouring it in. There it is, 1/4. We're gonna go ahead and pour that in. Beautiful. And we're also gonna use about 1/4 of butter. Great, that in there. And we're going to use a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, perfect. A teaspoon of cinnamon. There we go. A little bit falls over, no problem. There we go, beautiful. And 1/2 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Beautiful. Lastly, 1/4 of black pepper. And the recipe does call for a teaspoon of salt, but since we use salted pecans and glazed pecans, that's gonna give it that saltiness that you're gonna want. Perfect. So once that is all in there, we're gonna go ahead and grab like a spatula or something, and we're gonna go ahead and mix this all up together. All right, perfect. So we have our sweet potatoes with our spices and our toppings with pecans, dates, and almond flour. All right, so the final step is gather all your sweet potato. We're gonna go ahead and just pour it into our tray here. And I like to use a spatula just because I can spread it out like this. I like to make sure it's all even across the board. Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and start putting our toppings on here. Make sure you're scattering all that evenly there. And this is how your final healthy sweet potato casserole should be. Our final step, we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 375 degrees. Hello. And we have just taken this out fresh out of the oven. It's been sitting outside for about 10 minutes, of course. It smells absolutely amazing. Look at that brown on the topping there of the pecans. And we can see the spices around the edges of the sweet potato here. I cannot wait to dig in. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first segment, Cooking Made Easy with Ester Zepeda, our healthy casserole. Can't forget to try it. You will not be disappointed.